Alright, just got done watching Hostel Part 1. Basically about these three guys, one named Paxton, other Josh, and the other named Ollie. These are guys on vacation just going to Amsterdam, just get some weed, party with a bunch of girls and have fun. As they're doing it, they're trying to get back to their hotel spot. Apparently it's late and they got curfew, like the fuck. This one guy lets him in by the name of Alex. He tells them about this spot in Slovakia, where they got beautiful girls and all this other shit. These guys just wandering around anyway, so they're like, you know what, we will check it out. So they catch the train and end up going to this spot. Along the way, they end up talking to this doctor, who you think is gay at first because he starts touching on Josh by accident. Josh's like, yeah, I don't swing that way. They end up making it to the spot. They got to be roommates with these couple chicks, and they get them to go to a spa. So they get a crack and they enjoying themselves. Then they go to the club afterwards. Then they see these two Japanese chicks in the club, one named Kana and the other's her friend. Why they look so suspect though? So anyway, Paxton and Josh get it popping with the two girls. Not the Japanese girls, the Russian chicks that are staying in their room. Ollie gets it popping with the service host. They all give the girls the business. Next thing you know, Paxton and Josh wake up. The girl's not even in the room. They about to get breakfast or something. And they found out through the surface that Ollie never came back home. Do you think it's Paxton and Josh are best friends? We found out they didn't really know Ollie like that. They didn't even know she had a daughter. He had a daughter. They picked him up on the way, but it was like, all right, he seems cool, so it was like, let's roll on. Before all this took place, there was this one scene. Josh went outside to smoke. All of a sudden, these little kids ran up on him. Like, hey, man, give me $1. Josh trying to figure out what the heck is going on. All of a sudden, he sees the doctor coming up. The doctor gives the kids $1 and saves his life. Because apparently, kids in these part of the areas are fucking criminals. So technically, he kind of had a bond with the doctor. Meanwhile, we should try to figure out where the heck Ollie is. They talk to the Japanese chick, Kana, and she's like, yeah, he left with my sister. She got a picture on her phone with him and his sister chilling. Afterwards, they were told that he went to this museum or something like that. And they thought they saw Ollie going into the museum. Turns out it wasn't him, but for some reason, this other dude had his jacket on. Then later on, he got another text message from him saying, I'm going home. They're like, he's going home out the blue? Like, what the fuck? He just shows his head on the text message, but come to find out, his head had been severed from his body. So I was like, what? We see this dark alleyway. Ollie's laying on his table. He's done dead as shit. And his sister strapped her to the chair with the handcuffs. Kana's sister. This dude's coming at her with a chainsaw, some Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit. She about to be done deal too. The people out here getting murked. What's stemming from all this? Next thing you know, Paxton and Josh chilling with the girls again. They end up going to the club, but all of a sudden, Josh starting to feel sick. He goes back to the hotel, lays down in the room. He got ominous figures standing over him. Who are these people? Paxton went to the bathroom, but somehow the door locked on him. He's basically stuck in there, and he ended up falling asleep in there. Next thing we know, we see Josh in his dark room, and he wakes up. And yes, Josh has been taken to the abyss. Who has him in the room ready to be tortured? The same doctor he's been seeing the entire movie. He starts telling him he wanted to be a surgeon, but he never was able to get there. He wouldn't allow him to practice because, he's got shaky hands. He gives him his whole spiel, but basically, he's going to end up cutting this nigga up. So apparently there's more people, unlike the doctor, that are in this big-ass building. And basically, people are being sold to them just so they could cut him up, torture him, and do all types of stuff. It's just crazy. I guess they apparently do this to people outside the country, especially like Americans and stuff. Man, this shit's crazy. He was playing around with him, but bottom line, Josh is about to be done deal dead as shit. And all we have left now is Paxton. Paxton's trying to make all these calls to Josh and Ollie again, but nobody's answering, and we all know why at this point now. So he goes back to the hotel, he interrupts the girls again, but it seems like deja vu, right? So I know he's thinking to himself, something's off around here. So he talks to the police about the situation, and basically they can't do nothing about it. They said, we'll give you a call, let you know if anything turns up. So nobody's answering the calls, so he's like, man, fuck this shit, I'm doing my own investigation. He ends up spotting a Russian shorty and follows her. There's a bunch of Russian sketchy types all laying around. He goes in the spot and he finds both the Russian chicks just chilling. And she tells him that his friends probably went to an art show or something like that. So we're like, wait a minute, she does know where the fuck they at. Paxton's like, take me to this art show. They drive to this sketchy ass building. Look like it's all condemned on the inside. Paxton's skeptical, but at this point he feels he doesn't have a choice. So they go inside the building. It turns out it was a trap. She set him up. She got paid to bring Paxton there. Guards come out. It seems like he's about to get duffed now. Now they tie him up, and you thinking to yourself, yeah, well, this is pretty much done. Right as one of the doctors is about to do work, Paxton's begging off like anybody else would. But he starts talking in Russian. So we thought that was going to slow down the process. But then the doctor comes back with a ball gag. It's like, oh, shit. So the doctor's about to get the chainsaw. Paxton starts throwing up through the ball. Slows the doctor down for a minute. The doctor ends up cutting off the back of some of his fingers. But in the process of cutting off Paxton's 2 fingers, he also cut the handcuffs free off his seat, too. For some reason, he somehow ended up tripping over the fingers and then cutting his own stomach open. I'm like, what? Paxton takes this time to take the gun that's sitting on the thing, shoots this guy. Another security guard comes in, he shoots this nigga. And he's trying to find a way to get out. He sneaks on this tray table pretending he's dead. This butcher comes and picks up the table. And from what I've seen the butcher doing, he's cutting up body parts and then tossing them in the fire. So here's my question. Whoever's funding this project, people are leading tourists there so they can claim money on them. Some are worth between $5,000 and $10,000, but an American's worth like $25,000 or something like that. So my thing is, if they're willing to pay them this amount of money, what the fuck do they get out of killing these niggas? I thought they was using body parts for organs or something like that, but no. Because they'd end up discarding them in the fire anyway. It's like, what are they getting out of this? Anyway, he's about to find a way to escape. Paxton almost gets out of there, but all of a sudden he starts hearing screaming. He's like, but he ends up going in this room. He goes in this room, looks out the window, finds out the cops were in on it too. They all do this type of shit. He's just talking to this one guy who enjoys his work. The other dude just thinks Paxton works there. Paxton digs into a pocket with the suits, and he finds a card that says how much they'll pay for foreigners and Americans and stuff like that. Shit's wild. So anyway, right before he's about to leave, he hears screaming again. He goes back and he's about to save this girl. Come to find out the girl that's screaming is Connor. And the person that's about to torture her is the one that he was just talking to in the room. He ends up finishing it off and saving Connor. But apparently he was already working on the other side of her face. You see her eyeball dangling. It's like, ugh. Paxton has no choice but to cut it off. I'm like, wow. He gets in the car so they can save Connor and they get the hell out of there. Now he's got to catch the train so he can get completely out of the country. The only problem is these crazy motherfuckers is at the train. So Paxton's trying to find a way to sneak on with Connor. Connor ends up seeing a reflection of herself and she just stops. It's like, oh my god. I ain't gonna lie to you, yo. She looked like Two-Face after all that shit. Realizing all this and you can see a train coming, you already know what's about to happen. Connor's looking at Paxton. Paxton's like, no, don't do it. She jumps in front of the train, killing herself. Done deal, dead as shit. Throughout the confusion, Paxton was able to sneak on the train and get up out of there. While he's riding on the train, he hears a familiar voice. That's right, it's the doctor that killed his friend, pitching that same bullshit to people. So they get off at the next stop. The doctor's using the bathroom. Paxton follows him into the bathroom. Gets him in there, cuts his fingers off, drowns him in the tub. In the toilet, I mean. Lets him back up just so he can see his face. And then slits his throat. The doctor's done deal dead as shit. Paxton gets back on the train and he dips off and that's it. I got the whole trilogy and I'm definitely about to watch part 2. Oh yeah, by the way, when he was getting away in the car, he saw the 2 Russian girls in the alleyway. And then the guy Alex popped up getting some money from him too. So you know they was all in on it together. You know what he did? He ran all 3 of them the fuck over. They done deal dead as shit. Everybody got certified justice. But yeah, I can't imagine what's gonna happen in part 2 for real. The only thing I just didn't understand, I know the people were selling people for money. I just don't understand what they were using them for, like for the body parts. No, because they were burning them in the fires. Were they doing it for sheer pleasure and entertainment? Like, and who really had the money to pay these niggas off? Were they already doctors and surgeons and had money? Like, what's going on? Well, anyway, I'm about to watch part 2.